Welcome to Leadership Speak. My name is Francoise Bowen, and today I am the Sergeant of Arms. I'm also the club secretary of this club. Our Toastmaster of the day is none other than our Vice President of Public Relations, Rivero. The virtual lectern is now yours, Rivero.
Thank you very much, Francois. Today, our theme is the fundamentals of leadership. Think of yourself as a leader with a dream, with a vision, and you have a group of people who are committed to making this dream happen. What do you do next? Have you figured out, or have they told you why they became part of your team? Did they tell you what's in it for them, or did you find out from them? What exactly do they want to learn? And most importantly, how can we all stay motivated? Is the path ahead just straightforward and flat? Or is it intimidating, like climbing up a mountain? My fellow Toastmasters and guests, welcome to the fundamentals of leadership. It's important that we learn how to coach and mentor a team, as well as each other. And thanks to the environment that Toastmasters provides, we can all learn how to be a follower. We can all learn how to help each other, and we can all learn how to be leaders. We learn what to do. We learn how to teach others and be taught. We learn how to coach each other and be coached. And we learn how to mentor one another and be proteges and mentees. So without further ado, let's strive to seek, to find, and not to yield. And let's grow confidently. Next, I will control the meeting over to Brahm who will raise the toast for today's meeting. Brahm.
Mr. Toastmaster and leaders from around the world, from around the globe, welcome. Good morning here, but many other good afternoons and good evenings and all that. Do we theorize the fundamentals of leadership, or do we actualize the core components of leadership, making a difference by the process of leading? Do we lead? 3 weeks ago, I had to make a choice. Take charge as a leader or remain mum like everybody else did. When an email came from the area director stating that the area director says, I am the voice and I am going to cancel the area contest. Do I just be undeterred with that statement or that email? No, I didn't. I exhibited the leadership latent in me. Something bizarre, something out of the, crazy as anything I've never heard before. Not a mum, not a word from anybody. Then I took charge. I called an emergency meeting of our executives. I told them, I'm not asking permission, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to revive the contest. Oh, but we have heard that cannot be done, cannot be undone. And I said, no, I will make it happen. This is leadership in action, not just theorizing, just not out of some thought. Let's raise the glass to actualization of leadership and make it happen as a leader, not just theory alone. To leadership, fundamentals of leadership. Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you very much, Ram. Next, I will be introducing the grammarian, Barbara Jarvis, with the word of the day. Barbara. You are on mute.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, distinguished Toastmasters, fellow Toastmasters, and guests. I am very pleased to be the grammarian for this meeting. Let me explain my role. My role as a grammarian is to pay attention to the good use of English language and provide suggestions for improvement. Now, let me introduce the word of the day, referring to the theme of the meeting, fundamentals of leadership. The word of the day is confidence. Here's the definition: trust or strong belief in somebody or something. A simple example is, he described the situation with such confidence that the audience believed him completely. Now, each speaker is encouraged to use the word of the day at least once. I'll be counting how many times you use the word of the day. I will give you my report on any misuses of language as well as any outstanding uses, and provide my report at the end of the meeting. Back over to you, Toastmaster of the day, Rivero. Did I pronounce your name right? Rivero?
It's Rivero, but everybody pronounces my name. It goes with my territory here.
Okay, great stuff. Thank you.
No problem. Okay. Thank you very much, Barbara. Next is our timer, Banerjee Singh, and I hope I pronounced your first name right. So without playing the role. Okay, thank you. Now,
good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. Maybe here is a good evening in UAE. So my timer role today, thank you for permitting me to have this timer role. So I will show you green, yellow, and red signal as per timings mentioned in the agenda. Also, we'll give time report whenever it's called upon. Thank you very much. Over to the Toastmaster of the day, Mr. Evo.
Thank you very much, Banerjee. Banerjee, can you test the background of your timer to green, yellow, and red for all of us, please? Beautiful. Thank you so very much. And now our speakers of the day, starting with none other than Brahm Memone. Who is Brahm's evaluator for today? Why, it's none other than Fursey Gotuaco. Fursey, can you present to us some of the things that you'll be evaluating in Brahm's speech today?
Absolutely. Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. Brahm is doing an icebreaker. He is also preparing for his next big speech, as he always is as a leader, always casting forth that vision on where he's going next. He has asked me to look at the transitions, the naturalness. He doesn't want it to look like other Toastmaster speeches. He wants to find a way to keep it exciting and keep it natural. And so I'm going to be his best eyes and his best ears tonight. It will be my pleasure. Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you very much, Fursey. Today, Brahm is going to be presenting the fundamentals of leadership that are at the core of our club leadership speak. Brahm will be speaking from his experiences and coaching organizations about the fundamentals that are at our core and in this club leadership speak. Brahm will be presenting division or not division. Division or not division, Brahm Memone. Brahm.
I think my ancestors were crazy. You heard that right. I mean, they were like absolutely nuts, my ancestors. Now you wonder, Everyone talks well of their ancestors. And what's this guy saying about his ancestors? Shameless. Wes, I'm going to be shameless today because my ancestors were damn crazy. They were bloody crazy ancestors of mine. Let me tell you why they were so crazy. Let's go back 600 years beyond this bridge into the unknown. 600 years because I don't know too much what happened then, but history tells me, the vague history that I know tells me that my ancestors 600 years ago lived in a place called Sindh. Now, there was no India, there was no Pakistan, but the shape of this map was the same 600 years ago. And that's where they were, right there, subcontinent. Now, why were they crazy? Well, 600 years ago, these guys, my ancestors decided they didn't want to live in Sindh. They'd been there for thousands and thousands of years. I don't know how many thousands of years, but they decided they had enough. They had enough of where they were. And so they moved. They moved from Sindh, God knows why, to a place near Manvi, first in Kutch, of course, and then a place called Manvi. They were there for 400 years. 400 years. Now, did I say my ancestors were crazy? Yes, they were. They were restless. They had a vision of some sort. God knows what that vision was. But 200 years ago, they decided that they had enough of Manvi and Kutch where they were living. So they had been there for about 400 years and they had itchy feet, and they decided, let's go to Africa. Now, the sailors in the Indian Ocean were famously came from Manvi, and they helped actually the Europeans navigate the Indian Ocean, this whole huge Indian Ocean. And Vasco da Gama famously used sailors from Manvi to navigate from the east coast of Africa to, of course, as you know, the spice route and Goa, and the Portuguese ruled Goa for many, many years. And so, of course, they used the sailors in Manvi. They became expert sailors themselves, I think. Maybe they were pirates. They were my ancestors. Maybe I should speak nicely about them. But what they did was, from Manvi, they decided 200 years ago, we've had enough. And so off they went to Africa. They ended up in a place called Mombasa, in no ocean liners. This is what they sailed in. They sailed in little boats, and these boats were called the Arab dhows because these were famous around the east coast of Africa and Indian Ocean. And this was the only vessels available in those days. No cruise ships, no luxury liners. It took them about a month, maybe more. God knows what sort of storms they met, but they traveled into the unknown. They had a vision of some sort. God knows what that vision was. I have no idea. They didn't write a book and tell me. But look at this boat, right? Just have a look at this boat. This boat is made of wood, has one sail, and good luck to them if something happened along the journey. I'm sure they probably dumped a few people overboard who died along the way. They didn't tell me. I assumed they were crazy. So here it is. They landed in Mombasa, which was a stronghold of the Arab Empire, the Zenj Empire, for those of you who know about the Omani Arabs and how they ruled East Africa. Of course, they had a war with Portuguese in the 1500s, and they drove Portuguese out, and then they came back, the Arabs came back, and then, of course, the British came, and they were everywhere, about 150 years back. But these ancestors of mine followed this line. They traveled all over the place, and my mom was born in Mwanza. So some of my ancestors went right around Lake Victoria. Now, remember, 200, 250 years ago, there were no trains, there were no cars, there were no roads, there was not even a path. Can you imagine how crazy my ancestors were? I think now I have the right to call them crazy without apologizing, but that's who they were. And so, ladies and gentlemen, that is the quest they were on. God knows where, but here I am today in Canada, born in Mombasa, born right here, and lived all over East Africa, by the way, as well. In many, many cities. I grew up in small little towns, but here I am today. And it's not about me really and my journey from when I grew up to today. This is more about the vision that my ancestors has that runs through me, and every inch and every cell of me resounds with some vision, a quest to find something along in the unknown as to what is out there beyond the comfort zone. And hence, when you see me driven or doing things that are uncertain or into the uncertainty and doing something outlandish, blame my ancestors and this little boat. And that's what you got to do. It's not my fault. It runs through me. It's in my DNA. It's in my core. Perhaps this is what they look like. I did a Google, and this is what they look like, my ancestors. I shouldn't be raising my hand because Zoom, when I raise my hand, Zoom thinks I'm raising my hand and it puts it up automatically there. But my ancestors probably looked like these when I Googled for Sindhis. Of course, these are not 600-year-old pictures. These are recent pictures, but I'm sure traditionally this is what they look like. My ancestors, yes. Okay, so here I am today without the beard and the turbans, but as you can notice, they're wearing the same headgear. And I'm sure these are the sort of people who would venture into the Indian Ocean and around Africa with no trains, planes, no track, nothing, right? This would be the sort of people. Somebody like me wouldn't be doing that. It's the way I look. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, so let me take you on a journey of Leadership Speak, my quest of why I created Leadership Speak, and that vision and the uncertainty to take that on and create something different. And also, of course, the Global Leadership Impact Summit that we created last year, where a lot of the members were engaged in. But Leadership Speak, what is the core of Leadership Speak? Let's talk about that a little bit. So Leadership Speak has a vision. We all know that vision is, the premier club for being a better, for Toastmasters to become better self-directed leaders. And that's the core, self-directed leaders. That is the vision of this particular community that we are in, which is called Leadership Speak. Now, here you come along, or here I come along and say, okay, here's me. And I want to be part of Leadership Speak. It has got a great vision. The vision is self-directed leaders. I want to become a self-directed leader. That's the only reason why you should be joining the club, by the way. It's an advanced club. It's a specialized club. And so you should be joining because of the vision. And our mandate is to provide a training to be a better self-directed leader. So here you come along, right? And you want to be part of this community. So what do? What you have to do is find a common ground. What is the common ground between you and the community? Which is, what is your vision? Why are you joining this community? And that is the place of what I call the zone of magic. If you know, and if you defined, I want to become a better self-directed leader, and you define what that is, and you have a vision to be in this community, then you're in the right place. And so I urge all of our members and guests who are wanting to join and become better self-directed leaders to find that zone of magic. That is it. It's because it's an advanced club, right? You are not in a community club. So in a community club, you want to become just a better speaker. You can stand up and begin to speak. Here, you have to have done level 3. So you know your pathways, you know technology, you know all those things, you know the tools. Now, here comes, I want to be a better self-directed leader. What's the zone of magic? What is my vision in being in this community? And when you define what that is, that's when you begin to get involved in the community the way it's supposed to be. And I'll tell you, and I'll give you some tools and guide you along today as to what I mean by self-directed leaders. The vision that my ancestors had, they were self-directed. But I don't know if they had all the 6 things that a self-directed leader has, or 7 things that I'm about to point out. So let's have a look at that, right? First of all, as a reminder, Leadership Speak, Premier Club for experienced Toastmasters to become better self-directed leaders, right? Self-directed leaders is key to you joining this club. So here you are. What is your vision? Exactly. Cheers if you have a vision. All right. So let's look at that again. All right. The self-directedness, what does it really mean? For some of you, it is a mystery. Some of you think it is a vision, having a vision. That is correct. Having some goals, that is correct. But there's 7 points in there about being a self-directed leader. And what are those? Well, ladies and gentlemen, let's have a look, right? I've talked about this in a lot of my talks, but today we will actually pinpoint these and talk to these 7 points. Number 1, of being self-directed. What is it? The first thing, ladies and gentlemen, is self-awareness. Now, what is self-awareness? It is knowing your strengths and your weaknesses, what you value, what your beliefs are, you know, how you're acting and reacting, responding to circumstances. Where's your emotional strength? You know, do you react to things very quickly or not? This is all about self-awareness, right? It is much more than just emotional intelligence. Of course, emotional intelligence is just the tip of the iceberg. It allows you to understand your behaviors and how it affects people around you. So it means when you are looking that way at yourself, it means you are a leader. You've taken the initiative to say, who am I going to be inspiring, right? And how does self-awareness grow in an advanced club? Well, number 1, feedback and evaluations. So as you know, last week, or a couple of weeks ago, I announced that Sudarshan Sheshadri will be taking on the evaluation part of our club and making sure that our evaluations go to the next level and what it really means to evaluate in an advanced club. In an advanced club, the evaluations and feedback are very different, so that your self-awareness grows much more rapidly and it's more direct. The feedback is more direct, it's more coaching style. And in a community club, it is not that direct as much as it is in an advanced club. And Toastmasters International actually does say if it's an advanced club, this is what you will get, more direct feedback, right? Number 2 is, well, self-awareness is to have mentors. Now, ladies and gentlemen, where do you get mentors? Each one of you is in a group, right? There's groups that you've been placed into, and those groups that you've been placed into are you actually mentoring groups. Now, everybody in that group that you are in is, you are a leader in that group. There's a group facilitator only in the group to facilitate what you're doing. They are not the leader of the group. They're the facilitator of the group. They're facilitating the group. And so anybody in the group can ask for what they want. They ask for a mentor, ask for feedback, say, can I come and do my speech and gather 2 or 3 people or the whole group and do your speech, practice it and deliver it here, or do it there finally and get a proper final evaluation and take it from there. And the last thing about self-awareness is collaboration. As you know, I've been pumping collaboration in this club a lot over the past few months because I was doing team collaboration. I've finished my team collaboration. This project that I'm doing is from visionary communication. And this is an icebreaker from visionary communication. Actually, I've done a lot of other speeches as well in other clubs on visionary communication. But the thing is, collaboration is key. Yes. Did you get that? Collaboration is key in your growth, and that's why we emphasize collaboration. That's why you again put in those groups to collaborate with each other. You are also, as a Toastmaster of the day today, Ray is finding out he had to collaborate with a lot of people to be able to do this meeting. In a community club, you know, the VP of Education will just set up the agenda. The Toastmaster of the day will turn up and just run the meeting and do a role playing of a Toastmaster of the day. Here, behind the scenes, a lot of things happen and a lot of collaboration happens. And me and Ray collaborated on what this theme was going to be and what I'm going to be speaking on the fundamentals of leadership, which is what we are talking about, our fundamentals in leadership speak. So number 2, goal setting. Definitely goal setting. Because when you have a vision and you've defined, why am I going to be in a club that says, you know, you have to be good at being self-directed. If I'm going to be in that club, I have to be self-directed, which means I have to set my goals. Now, remember, I also mentioned you have been put in some groups. If you don't know how to set goals, turn to a mentor. Now, if you cannot do that in your group, turn to the whole club. We have experts from all fields of life in this club. We have people who will teach you goal setting. We have people who will teach you how to collaborate. We have people who will teach you how to speak professionally. We have people who will teach you leadership at a professional level and many other things. It exists in this club. We are drawing members to this club because of our vision. And so goal setting is definitely part of being self-directed. You have to have clear, concise, smart goals. Next thing, learning agility. Now, what is learning agility? Is being open to new experiences. Now, when you come to leadership speak, you will have new experiences, completely different experiences from what you're used to in a community club. It is really a mind opener. If you're still acting the same way that you're doing in a community club, you really haven't grasped what an advanced club is. If you're doing the same type of speeches and if you're doing the same type of evaluations, then you really haven't grasped this. And hence, what we have done is I have made the education committee bigger. We have now 5 people in the education committee so that we actually provide all this stuff for you. There's 5 people. And Asif is leading the committee of the education committee, so that you can have all these tools and tactics to get to where you really want to be as a self-directed leader. And the promise was, if you really stick to it and immerse yourself in this club, by the end of 2023, you will become an extraordinary leader. Number 4, accountability means you have to be responsible for your growth and development. However, we can push you so much. In the end, you can take a horse to the water, but you cannot make it drink, right? And so you are the horse and the trough of water is there. Now, will you drink it? Will you be accountable? Will you be responsible? When people talk of accountability, they think of, oh, somebody's going to blame me. It's not about blame, it's about taking charge. That's what accountability is. Initiative. Core fundamental principle of any leadership. This should have been number 1. But anyways, initiative is when you take the initiative to do something, when you see that something is not going right and you stand up and say, I'll do that. You step forward first. You take the initiative. You have that intentionality. What is intentionality? Comes from the zone of magic, your vision and the community's vision. That's where the intentionality comes from, and your initiative comes from there. And so you should have that initiative to start things and finish things and be accountable, right? And help others. When you see that they are faltering, take the initiative in your group and then in the club. Say, how can I help you? How can I help you become a better self-directed leader? Get this phrase and ask somebody during today or during this week in leadership speak in a number of WhatsApp groups. How can I help you be a better self-directed leader? Ask somebody. Or ask yourself, how can I become a better self-directed leader? Which is our vision, right? Initiative. And self-motivation. Well, what can I say about self-motivation? Again, it's all about initiative, and self-motivation is fundamentally being driven from within, not asking and not waiting for somebody else to drive you and light a fire under you, which means self-motivation is more about inspiration coming from within you. And lastly, ladies and gentlemen, being resilient. So whatever the circumstances are, whatever is happening in your life, you are resilient and you will be able to contend with anything that's there. With that, ladies and gentlemen, I think my ancestors had all these, I think so. Well, they traveled the Indian Ocean. They traveled all over Eastern Africa with nothing. I don't know whether they had donkeys or they traveled on foot. God knows what they were up to. But here I am today because of my ancestors, and whatever was driving them is in my DNA. And it drives me to do big projects, huge projects, not on the Indian Ocean, but at least in Toastmasters and outside of Toastmasters in the world of leadership. Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster. Thank you very much.
And thank you very much for that wonderful speech, Brahm. Timer, could we have 1 minute for the evaluator to summarize his notes, please? For all of us, for speakers and for evaluators and for all of us who are in attendance, for the relation to this theme, think about what you can pick up by going to this club. And think about what you'll be able to take back with you into your everyday life, whether it's in another Toastmasters club or in another aspect of your life. Because whatever we learn in leadership, just like the points that Brahm presented, we can learn how to be leaders. And the best way is through the demonstration of experience. So let's all think about what can we pick up and what can we take back when it comes to the fundamentals of leadership. And one other thing, let's see what we can do to become better leaders. And it is a journey that we don't have to do alone. Banerjee, has a minute elapsed.
Anything? Saying something, Saiyed?
Yes, has a minute elapsed for evaluators to summarize his notes?
It's not clear to me.
Ray, I suggest you don't wait for 1 minute in between.
Okay.
Okay.
Then,
They don't need a minute in between because they'll continue doing the evaluation as the meeting goes on.
All right, then I'll continue on. Our next speaker is Asif Saiyed with his speech, Be Ready for Leadership, the Position Myth. Asif helps businesses to increase profits using effective risk management and efficient processes. He also helps executives grow in their career using a growth mindset. Please welcome Asif Saiyed, Be Ready for Leadership, the Position Myth. Be Ready for Leadership, the Position Myth, Asif Saiyed.
Hello, Ray. I'm his evaluator, so I need to read the objectives.
Right, you are. My fault. I forgot to let you speak. So please give please present what you're going to be evaluating in Asif Saiyed's speech.
Yeah, sure. Thank you so much. So today I'm going to evaluate the speech by Toastmaster Asif Saiyed. He's going to present the project evaluation and feedback This is his first speech from the project. And the purpose of this project is for the member to present a speech on any topic, receive feedback and apply the feedback to a second speech. The purpose of this project is also for the member to present a speech and receive feedback from the evaluator. So all the very best, Toastmaster Asif Saiyed. Thank you. Over to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you very much, Aswathi. Timer, 5 to 7 minutes on this speech. And Asif Saiyed, when you're ready.
The number one miscommunication or the misconception which I come across while coaching executives in my process of executive coaching is that executives ask me, how can I become a leader if I'm not at the top of the organization? If I'm not the department head, if I'm not the branch head, if I don't have a big position, how can I be a leader? See, leadership has little to do with the position. It's a myth that if you have a position at the top, you will be able to lead. The fundamental to leadership is what? Having followers. If you don't have followers, then how can you be a leader? You can, yes, start from being a self-directed leader and you can lead your own self. But going out and leading people requires a few other things. And the number one thing which is required to be a leader is your influencing capability. How well you can influence others around you as your colleagues or people who are reporting to you, or how you are able to influence the people or the leaders into the organizational hierarchy. That is, you are able to influence up, above, across the organization, sideways, and below your authority as well. Now, how can you develop the influence on people? Well, yes, one is the positional authority. You can influence the perquisites which come, the perks which come along with the position. People may want to follow you, because if they don't follow you, your instructions, then you might be able to inflict some kind of a punishment as per the organizational power or authority vested upon you in the position. But think about it, as soon as the position is removed, are these people going to follow you? How many times do we see that the people who are right now in the limelight and they may be, considered as the top powerful positions, and suddenly you remove the position from them and they're just completely, vanish in the darkness. So it's so important that the executives, I talk more about the executive, but it is applicable to everyone, even in voluntary organizations as well, any kind of organization, even in groups, informal groups. How can you be vested and be seen as a leader? One is, let's say you want to, you want to enhance your influence with people. You start talking to them, you start building a rapport with them. They start liking you. You have some common interest. But just building a common rapport doesn't have you to become a leader, right? They need to follow you as well. They need to see you as a leader. So maybe then you start helping them in their task. You give them some advice or suggestions, or you help them in their own work. And that's the way they can start, trusting you or looking forward to receiving help from you. That's one way. Another way, very important, is you can build your persuasive. You can build your persuasive communication. You should be able to persuade people to do some tasks. If they are not able to, if you're not able to persuade people to do some tasks as required, then how are they going to follow you? So for that, then you may have to build up your negotiation skills as well. Because there may be many conflicting situations may arise, and there may be 2 or 3 people may be having the diverse opinions. And then how do you get everyone together and you show them a common purpose, the larger goal in life, and then you try to solve the problems and give them solutions as well. So what essentially we are looking for is that it's not just your position. Sometimes you're given the position that will start with the starting point that will help you. It will give you a benefit of doubt. People will say, okay, fine, this person has got a position and let's follow the person. But sometimes you will see that, even after getting the position, you're not able to, if a person is not able to solve the problem, if not able to help them get the task done or not producing results, well, then people will start losing trust on the person, and then suddenly what would happen then? Naturally, the influence is going to reduce, isn't it? So this whole activity is a lifelong process. It's a continuous process. It can't be developed all of a sudden. You cannot wait that, okay, let somebody vest in me a kind of an authority and then I will become a leader. No, it's just a continuous process. From wherever you are, you can be a leader. You start developing your relationships with people. You start understanding them. You start knowing about them, what they want, what they like, what they don't like, what are their problems, what are the issues or challenges. And then what you look upon is your own strengths, whereby you can help them, isn't it? That's also very important that, you look at your own strengths and then you make them understand, look, this is my strengths and this is the way I can help you out. And that's the way people are ready to receive your help. So it's so important that before you become a leader, you prepare yourself to become a leader. You're ready to lead people. And that requires focused efforts. Hence, my suggestion to, because all of us over here are leaders, you may come across other people who may be interested in becoming leaders. What would be your advice or suggestion to them would be, from my experience, I'm sharing with you, that's the reason I'm sharing it with you, is that you cannot dig well when you are thirsty. So it's best to start preparing for the position. God knows when the opportunity may come and you might not find yourself ready for that position. So best go out, make relationships, make connections, connect with people, try to solve problems, persuade them, bring and build long-lasting relationships with people so that naturally you become a leader and you don't seek with the position. Positions don't make a leader, leaders make a position. Back to you, Toastmaster Brady.
Thank you very much, Asif. Our next speaker is Marie Cusin. First, a few words from her evaluator, Kenneth Ejura. Kenneth, can you share with us what you plan to evaluate in Marie's speech today?
Thank you, Ray. Our speaker, Marie Cusin, is going to give her third speech. Vocal variety and body language. What I will look out from Marie, I'll look out the vocal variety, the body language, usage, how you're able to handle your pace, the tone, the pitch, and the volume. Over to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Kenneth. Marie Cusin has been a Toastmaster since 2016, and she's currently a medical secretary. Without her knowing it, she practices each and every day the maxim of our club to be a self-directed leader. As she collaborates on a medical team with different health actors, she has to be an autonomous leader to handle with the patients to come to her medical practice or redirect the patient. Of course, confidence is the key to her work. In this context, she'll share with us a common situation that she faces every day. This in a 5 to 7 minute speech, Marie Cusin. Be aware, be safe, live longer. Be aware, be safe, live longer, Marie Cusin.
Yeah, before making an appointment on our emergency places, I need some more information. When your generalist practitioner diagnosed the thrombosis, did he do a D-dimer test? And did it exceed the normal level? Did he give you an anticoagulation while waiting for our specialist appointment? Madam, I need an appointment right now. Are you a doctor? Sir, I understand your impatience. And in order to help you, I need you to answer these 3 questions precisely. Yes, I am anticoagulated, and my doctor will send you his report. All our emergency places are taken today. We will send you tomorrow morning at 10. And don't worry, you are protected by your anticoagulation. Can you give me your name and contact details? Relief of the patient. Fellow Toastmaster and guests, do you know that you are the first actor of your health? Just by being aware, by being safe, and you can live longer. As a patient, your collaboration practitioner with all medical professional and paraprofessional is essential. Hello, madam. My generalist practitioner has asked me to make an urgent appointment with your angiologist today. I have a thrombosis. This clot in my calf vein is giving me terrible pain. It is swollen and my skin is red. As a medical secretary, every day I receive a frightened call from a patient who thinks he's going to die soon. The next day, after his consultation, the patient leaves reassured he has his prescription with the drug protocol for his anticoagulant and the prescription for his support stockings. Medications can and do range from superficial vein thrombosis, anticoagulation for 6 weeks, profound thrombosis, anticoagulation of minimum 3 months. Taking anticoagulant at a precise time and at a very good time, it is so important because it is a ritual, so you don't forget to take the medication, assess an adequate dosage for a future blood test. Wear compression stockings to help not have edema and not to aggrave the disease, to help the blood flow back to the heart. When the patients come to me to register the follow-up, the post-thrombotic appointment, he says, tell me, do I really have to wear this kind of stockings? Yes, as the doctor certainly told you, they are a precious help, not have an edema, and above all, follow the doctor's instruction. for the best possible success of your treatment. And now go to the orthopedic technician to take measurement of your leg in order to wear well and adapted compression stockings. The journey of a patient begins as confused, scared, and hungry individual, and ends when the patient gets reassured by the doctor and referred by the medical assistant about the best course forward. Vein thrombosis affect many patients all over the world, especially people whose lifestyle is sedentary and ones that usually travel long distances by air, by car, or boats. Left unattended, the consequence can be fatal. However, by being aware, being safe, and by taking the right treatment, patients can and do improve their lives. Toastmaster and guest, the human body is a miracle in motion. However, even miracles need care and cure. Therefore, the next time, whatever your illness, if you remain in control and act at the right time, in the right manner, you will be aware, safe, and of course, live longer. Back to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you very much. Our next speaker is Lokesh Verma. And to evaluate Lokesh's speech will be Leah Musunga. Leah, can you please present some of the features that you'll be evaluating in Lokesh's presentation, please?
Thank you very much, Mr. Toastmaster of the Day. I have the confidence that the speech that Lokesh will be presenting today will be very interesting, as it is a question and answer session. And the purpose of the speech is for the member to practice delivering an informative speech and running a well-organized question and answer session. So the member is responsible for managing the time so there is adequate opportunity for both. Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you very much, Leah. Lokesh Verma is a Toastmaster for almost 4 years now. He is passionate to improve upon his leadership and communication skills. Today, he'll be presenting a 5 to 7 minute speech, followed by a 10-minute question and answer session. So timer, we have a 5 to 7 minute time, and then we have a 10-minute question answer period afterwards. So we'll be running the timer twice. And today's speech by Lokesh Verma, life has an expiry date. Life has an expiry date. Lokesh Verma.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day. Can you just confirm, am I visible and am I audible clearly?
We see you and you're loud and clear.
Thank you. How many times do you laugh in a day? Is it 10 times, 50 times, 100 times, or you don't laugh at all? Everyone knows that laughter is the best medicine. But today, we have made our lives so complex that we forget to laugh. Greeting, fellow Toastmasters and dear guests. Today, people in our society are grappling with enormous problems, lifestyle diseases, such as stress, anxiety, heart attack, and cancer. All such lifestyle diseases do not develop in just one day. It is the outcome of several years of suffering, stress, and anxiety. And if one person is affected due to lifestyle disease, then the entire family suffers. The entire family suffers not just one day, but every day and for many years. Can we mitigate the risk of such lifestyle disease in our society? Though there are a lot of techniques, tactics we can practice to avoid lifestyle diseases, but today, let me share with you what can be learned from children and what I do follow in my life to avoid lifestyle disease and to live a healthy life. Study says that an adult laughs an average of 15 times a day only, whereas children laugh more than 200 times a day. Research also indicates people who laugh more has less chances of developing lifestyle diseases. Given the fact, so be a little childlike and enjoy health benefits by practicing laughter. There is another reason why such lifestyle diseases are increasing in our society, and that is we take things personally. Taking things personally leads to stress and anxiety, which causes harm to our health. My father-in-law had a property dispute with his cousin brother for 25 years. After 25 years, they realized that they were fighting with each other with no strong reason. And now they decided to let bygones be bygones, and they have made peace with each other. But can you imagine 25 years of stress and anxiety between these two families, which can be simply avoided by forgiveness? You must have observed in a playground when two children play with each other, they sometimes fight with each other. They don't talk for a couple of minutes, but within a minute, they come back together again and play like a best friend. Because children do not wait for 25 years to understand that it is none of their serious business to be annoyed with anyone. It is a time to get your ducks in a row, to avoid stress and anxiety, and for many health benefits. Practice two things: laughter and forgiveness. Friends, commit yourself to laughing as much as you can. Find a reason to laugh. And if you don't have a reason, then create one. You can watch comedy shows, comedy movies, talk to your friends, or maybe play with the children in your family. That's what I do. Everyday life has up and down, and whenever I feel low, I ensure I spend my time with the children in my family. I call to my friend to speak up my mind, and I watch India's best comedy show, the Kapil Sharma Show. Second, practice forgiveness. Forgiveness is the best form of love. One simple technique which you can do is to make a best wishes for people who might have hurt you, who might have shaken your life, who may not like you, disturb you every day. Wish them good health and happiness every day 3 times. Wish them good health and happiness every day 3 times for 21 days. I know it's not so easy, but if you practice it for 21 days, I bet life will change. and life will be full of positive vibes and lot of happiness. Friends, the day is not far when we will run out of medicine and doctor will left with only one choice to prescribe you a dose of laughter 100 times a day, a dose of laughter 200 times a day, a dose of laughter 500 times a day. Life has an expiry date, so enjoy it with laughter and forgiveness. Back to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you very much, Lokesh. Timer? Can we have 8, 9, and 10 minutes for our time for the question and answer? And do we have a volunteer to ask Lokesh any questions? Brahm?
Thank you. You know, Lokesh, you reminded me of a book I read many years ago by Norman Cousins, famous book. And it was called Anatomy of an Illness, where doctors had told him, that's it, you're done. And so he took himself out of the hospital, went to the nearest hotel, put himself in a hotel room, and started watching comedy shows and laughed himself back to health. Amazing. So we must, and I don't laugh enough, Lokesh. Lokesh, what should I do to make myself laugh? Tricky question.
Thank you, Brahm. Thank you, Brahm. And you have mentioned really a right example of Norman Cousin. He has watched a movie of Marx Brother regularly, and we saw a tremendous benefit in his he was suffering from spondylitis. And by using humor and by, laughing as much as he can, he has improved a lot. And he has written a book, which you have mentioned as well. What we can do to laugh, what I do is, it's really when we are very tensed, when we are very stressed, it's very difficult to laugh in a similar situation. It's nearly impossible to be anxious and to laugh. We have to divert our mind. Probably what I do is I do watch comedy shows, and that's what Norman Cousins has done, right? I remember his quote, which mentioned that death is not the greatest loss in life. The greatest loss is what dies within us while we live. So that's what, we have to find a reason. Probably that's what I have mentioned in my speech as well. Whenever we feel stressed, find, a reason to laugh. Maybe the reason could be different to anybody and a different people. I really, enjoy the company of my 2 kids. I have 2 kids. And, when I'm stressed, it's not so easy to mingle with them. But once you take one step and you start playing with them, you forget your stress. And that's what, by laughing, it's not like, disease will be overcome. You will be cured from a disease like cancer, not like that. But at least you will get more strength to overcome the stress you are going through. So thank you, Brahm, for the question.
Thank you.
Next, we have Sandra Volks with a question. Sandra.
Lokesh, I just absolutely thoroughly enjoyed that speech. And I'm just going to ask you right now, as I'm looking at very serious faces on here, could you lead us in a little bit of laughter? Could you make sure everybody gets unmuted and lead us in a little laughter? That opening laughter could have been your closing laughter as well. So that's my question. Can you do that?
Absolutely. Thank you, Sandra, for such a wonderful practice question. May I request everybody to first unmute and switch on your video. Before I make them laugh, they're laughing. Look at me. Look at my face. Those colleagues see the fellow Toastmasters who are not laughing and then laugh.
Oh, come on. There's still some with no big grin on their face. Get over yourselves.
I don't see Hannah laughing.
And let me.
Gerda, all right. Yay, awesome. Woohoo. Thank you.
Okay.
Good.
And let me also mention that, studies also prove that it doesn't matter whether you are laughing naturally or you are laughing artificially. The benefit will be the same to the body and mind. So you start with laughing, whether it is artificial or the real. I do motivate you to laugh naturally, but yes, start with whatever way comes in. In India, what we do is morning laughter yoga, and everybody in a park, in a government park, what you can see is all the old age people, especially, they come together and they laugh so much without any reason. That's the yoga we do in India. So thank you, Sandra, for raising it.
Okay, do we have anybody else in the audience with a question? Asif.
Well, Lokesh, if some people are already going under a traumatic situation, and what would be a suggestion? Now, the one thing which you mentioned was laughter yoga. Definitely, that's a natural daily routine, discipline, you can call it as like, but if somebody is going through a traumatic situation or a bad situation, how would you suggest that person to laugh? What would be your suggestion?
Thank you, Asif, for the question. I think it's not really easy when we are going through a very difficult time, to laugh in such situation. And it again depend on individual to individual how we can cope up. But I have also mentioned about forgiveness. Sometimes we get hurt. So I'm diverting a bit of your question, part of it. Sometimes we get hurt so much. One of my friend, his boss has fired him just because the tuning was not matching between both of them. And he was very, very sad. I tried to make him laugh, but he was not laughing. He came with his family to my house. And every morning when I do practice forgiveness, he was asking, Lokesh, what are you doing? So sometimes laughter is not happening, not able to come out. Probably let's practice maybe in certain situations forgiveness. So what I did, I was doing the forgiveness meditation, happiness meditation, you can say. And he was asking, Lokesh, what you are doing this? I said, you can't do that. He said, no, I can do that. I told him a couple of times and he resisted that. No, I can do that. I said, yeah, just come and sit with me. I told him to wish good health and happiness for his boss who fired him. And he stood up and he said, no, I can't do that. To be honest, it really needs practice. Not in every situation we can laugh, but yes, what we can do at least to divert our mind probably in a different situation. If this situation is applicable where we can forgive others, at least, by forgiveness, we are not making others better, but we are making our own life better. So if laughter is not, helping, practice forgiveness, because in every situation we cannot laugh. Thank you, Asif, for this question.
Thanks so much, Lokesh, for the suggestion.
I think Ram also had a question.
Ram, did you have a question?
I did, and I still do. It is to deal with forgiveness, theorizing versus actualization. Are you talking about forgiving just for the sake of the speech, or do you really practice that? How do you forgive someone that may have wronged you so much and has bothered you for years? And that person is free. He's not bothered with it, but it bothers my inner core. How do you get around that?
Thank you, Ram, for this wonderful question. And this question is very close to my heart. I have gone through my lot of professional years experience by just, hurting myself because others were not coming to my expectation. They were hurting me. I was feeling hurt until I got, started reading a book called Emotional Intelligence by Daniel Goleman. And I understood, how our emotional brain got hijacked just because we are, our emotional brain hijack our logical brain, and when I get into it, I understood more. I really understood that I should not take things personally. And there are several studies which talks about it. And it is coming from within. When I was mentioning in Asif's question that practicing forgiveness is not really easy, my friend stood up and he said that I can't do that. In fact, when I started doing it, it took almost 10 to 15 days for me to speak up a good health and happiness for those who did something, who have shaken my life, who really hurt me in my life, in my personal and professional life. Speaking for them, good health and happiness was not so easy. It took 10 to 15 days. And believe me, I practice it every day, not just for the sake of speaking the speech. I practice it every day. My own life has become much better. After 15 days, 16th day onwards, when I could see the huge amount of mental peace I got, probably the other person who hurted me doesn't bother about me, whether I stay with that feelings for my entire life. And there are people who spend their entire life with those kind of regret, or maybe those kind of bad feelings, and people die with those burden. The only thing which I understood or I practice is, and that too also I learned from one of my fellow Toastmaster, is happiness meditation, forgiveness to others. And that's what we can do.
Thank you so much, Lokesh.
Okay. One more question, and that is from Sandra Volks. I think she's got a lot more than two, but we're going to give her one.
Well, my question was how you got started, because I'm an old fart and you're a much younger fart. And the really beautiful thing about that is, sorry about that. Somebody said I can be myself, and I'm really going for it. I really wonder at your younger age, even though you read the book and you did the practice, how old were you when you started to recognize that the children could teach us? And I guess the other half of that is casting the stone when you haven't done the sin yourself. We've all done everything that everybody else has done to us, and yet we want to hold out on them. So how did you really get it to go from your head to your heart, which is the long journey?
If I understood, you wanted to know from which age I started this. And
when did you start, and how did you, I mean, I know you practiced it every day for 15 days. My divorce was 30 years ago, and it took a lot longer than 15 days on something like that. But that long journey from there to there, when did you actually feel it? What age did you start to realize that was really happening?
I think this has all started from my childhood, though maturity has come just in last few years. I have gone through several difficult times, which probably very difficult to explain in this meeting. But from childhood to my professional life, my school, college life, I saw a lot of bullyism, and in professional life also a lot of biasness, which keep stroking one or the other thought every day. Why me? Why only me? And to be honest, around the age of 23, I started going to one of the famous spiritual center in our country's Brahma Kumaris, when everybody, all the old age people usually come after 50s and 55 mostly. And people used to ask me, you are so young, why you are coming here? You should come it after 50s. But there was a curiosity within me, probably that has led to such kind of, curiosity to find the answer of it. But it is until from last 2-3 years where I really started finding the need, because I need to move up my level up. I have to move my level up, right? And I was in the search of the real answer, and I was not really getting the real answer of it. To be honest, like we are in the group right now, I learned so many things from you. Maybe I may be able to share some of the learning experience with all of you. That's all happened gradually Not exactly what is the turning point, but yes, I could see a tremendous change in last 3 to 4 years probably. When I started relevant books, I connected with relevant people probably, and definitely practicing those learnings in my actual life as well.
Thank you. Thank you. It was beautiful. Thank you so much.
Thank you so very much. Thank you so much.
And thank you very much, Lokesh. I had a feeling we could continue, but we got a meeting to continue. So let's go forward.
Sure. Thank you, Ray. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Lokesh. Our next speaker is Banasree Banerjee. And to present her evaluation is Nurul Munawara. Nurul, can you please present what are some of the things that you'll be evaluating today?
Yes. Today, Banasree will be delivering the third speech of motivational strategy. And she will be focusing on she will be presenting a speech on any topic and focusing on vocal variety or body language and the gestures or using both. So I mainly will be looking at her speech, how effectively she should synchronize her speech with vocal variety and body language and gestures. Over to you, Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you very much, Nurul. Banasree Banerjee has a background in banking for about 15 years. She also has a passion for helping families with children with special needs. Banasree has embarked on a journey to build a better future for these individuals through her own platform called I Can't. As an entrepreneur, she is committed to creating a comfortable life for families facing unique challenges and obstacles. Alongside this venture, as an active member of Toastmasters for the past 2.5 years, Banasree has honed her public speaking skills and learned to lead meetings with authority and confidence. These experiences have taught her the value of hard work, determination, and perseverance, and is dedicated to using those skills and knowledge to make a positive impact in the world around her. In a 5 to 7 minute speech, Banasree Banerjee, Beauty in Pain. Beauty in Pain, Banasree Banerjee.
I changed the title of the speech, if you remember. There's a bit of pain in love.
My apologies.
It's okay. Okay. Did you know love is a thing of beauty? But it comes with a range of emotions. If you have ever been in love, then you are most likely to agree with me that there is always a bit of pain in love. Sometimes, even without heartbreaks. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. The journey of my love story perfectly depicts the truth that pain is a human experience and it is common in every love relationships. On the 14th of July, in his effort to impress me, he decided to surprise me with his culinary skills. Sunil, my boyfriend, he spent hours preparing meals. He set the table with sweet, scented candles, beautiful flowers, donned his best outfit, and he called me over for dinner in his apartment, along with his parents, friends, and Bruno. I remember arriving equally dressed in a beautiful satin turquoise dress on my stilettos. I was on cloud 9, seeing the romantic setup he had put up for me. After exchanging the sweet pleasantries, it was time to serve dinner. Sunil gently stood up. He stretched his arms to reach out to me, pushed me, no, to reach out to pick up the pot. Realizing it was hotter than he had expected, he barely would have taken 2 or 3 steps, and he dropped it, the pot, on the table, spilled the entire pot of hot mutton risala all over the table, and eventually on my dress too. Though in shock and extremely embarrassed by what he had done, but he stood helplessly looking at me, covered in red hot curry all over my dress, and he did not move. He could feel I was in burning pain with hot curry all over me, but he did not move. And to add to the texture to that curry, his dog, Simba, he jumped on my face with saliva hanging from his tongue. He threw me on the floor just for one piece of mutton that was tucked in one of the pleats which he had noticed. I was flat on the ground, but I did not flare. I realized I had to do something. I controlled myself and I bursted out laughing, looking at every one of them. And I said, it's okay. There is always a bit of pain in all our love stories. Today, we are growing older. And I know we have come across a stage where we all have different physical abilities. But one thing about him, I'm just not able to control, is his snoring. I have tried earplugs, nose clips, and even the pillow to stop him. Nothing works. Initially, it seemed it may be working, but momentarily, he stopped snoring, and the moment I would push the pillow on him, he would stop for another few seconds. And if I feel like it's the time to catch on to sleep, he would begin snoring even louder than before. I have finally given up. And I'm forcing myself to sleep despite his snores. Believe what he says? Next morning, he asked me, did you have a good sleep? I would reply, well, I didn't, but I got some workout with the help of this pillow. He would be surprised. You did that? Yeah. I was hoping it would be good for me in some way, right? He would say, I love you too much these days. But I guess, loving me comes with a little bit of pain and some inconveniences too. But it's all worth it, isn't it? Regardless of everything else. I agree with the person who once said, sleeping next to someone you love makes you fall asleep faster, reduces the helps you live longer until person starts to snore. Anyways, I guess that is a part of love as well. Until today, Simba, when he sees me entering the house, he will literally go to that end of the hall, turn like an airplane on top of the runway with speed and distance measured, momentum gathered. He will fling himself, combining the long jump and the high jump, into my arms. Oblivious to the fact that whether I am in a position to catch him or I can swivel him to avoid that dog missile. I know we do get hurt in love. Fellow Toastmasters, love is a thing of beauty, but it also comes with a range of emotions, and one of them is a level of pain. Enjoy all pains in all forms. I'm sure you have realized that the people we love will do things to hurt us. But that is all a part of love. It's worth it. Are you there with me? Over to you.
Thank you very much, Banasree. Oh, the things we do for love. Our next speaker is Ejura. Forgive me for mispronouncing if I'm going to do this. Okapachi. Her evaluator today is Sandra Volks. Sandra, can you please share with us what you are planning to evaluate in Ejura's speech?
Thank you. Yes, this is an icebreaker today, and it's from the Persuasive Influence. Now, he's going to deliver the speech on any topic, but he also wanted to know how his eye contact goes and some other general evaluations. So I'll be watching for all of that. And welcome, Ejura. Back to you, Ray.
Thank you very much, Sandra. Ejura Okapachi is a project manager, a speaker, and a trainer. She has the ability to solve problems, and in an icebreaker, 4 to 6 minutes, she'll share a little bit about her to us. Please welcome Ejura Okapachi with her icebreaker, In with the New. In with the New, Ejura Okapachi.
Inyala Van Santa said, until one learns how to do self-reflection, it is almost impossible to learn and grow. While I was preparing for this project, I couldn't help but notice the vast difference between my icebreaker speech of a just concluded pathway and this present pathway, my icebreaker speech. I just couldn't get around how different this person I was writing about has become. My great leaders of leadership speak, good afternoon and greetings from the serene capital city of Abuja in Nigeria, West Africa. My name is Ejura. I was born and raised in Lagos, the boisterous city of Lagos, where I started my early education. My tertiary education took me to the city of Zaria in northern Nigeria, and then I proceeded to the city of Oxford in the United Kingdom, where I got a degree in business and management. Shortly afterwards, I came back to Nigeria and I took on various roles in administration, management, and I even ventured into entrepreneurship. I need to say this at this point. Entrepreneurship is an extreme sport in Nigeria, but that's a speech for another day. A turning point in my life came when I joined Toastmasters in 2017. I came across Toastmasters for the very first time while reading the book, The Jewish Phenomenon. And then a friend of mine had told me to follow him for a meeting. And when I got there, I was blown away. I was so happy to finally found a place where I could hone my existing skills and talents as a speaker. I have finally found home. Shortly after I joined Toastmasters, I was elected as a vice president membership. Shortly after that, the next tenure, I was also elected as a secretary. Now, those two roles were not exactly challenging in the sense that there was so much to learn and I gained some skills, but they were fairly easy because I had really good support. But then the following year, I got elected as Vice President of Education. As anyone in this group knows, the Vice President Education is the heartbeat of every club. The Vice President Education is the one who organizes the club meetings. You plan and organize club contests. You prepare your speakers, you prepare your members to ensure that they are ready for contests, for the club contest, for the area contest. And then you also have to learn how to deal with a lot of people. role players. You have to learn how to deal with change, because many people sometimes they call at the very last minute to cancel their roles. And so that role as Vice President Education threw me off guard, because for some reason, I didn't feel ready. For some reason, all of my flaws were so obvious. I was so conscious of my shortcomings. And it was during that time I had just registered to start my pathways, my first pathways, and I had to get feedback from my friends, Toastmasters and colleagues alike. They gave me feedback and they said things like, Ejura, you are creative, you are passionate, you are resilient, you are hardworking, you love to serve. But they also told me that, Ejura, you are neurotic. You obsess and worry over the little details. You obsess and worry over everything. You are passive aggressive. And you don't really know how to manage time. Those were things that were hard to swallow, but I knew that those were the truth. Because I have been paying my dues for a long time, I told myself, I will allow Toastmasters to pass through me. I will not continue to pay dues and not learn and grow. I will make a change in my life. 2 years later, several projects later, lots of learning curves later, I have finally come to say that I have grown into a well-rounded human being. Not perfect, far from it. I'm still passionate, I'm still resilient, I still love to serve, but I'm no longer as passive aggressive as I used to be. I'm now more direct with my communication. I'm assertive. I know how to talk to people now. I understand my leadership and communication style. I know how to lead my teams now. One of the things I have come to learn, because of the fact that I have grown and paid attention to my growth, I've had many victories. But the truth is, sometimes victories can make you relax. Victories can make you settle. But I don't want that. Just like Brahm said earlier in his speech today, I want to be able to move beyond my comfort zone. I have come to a point where I am dissatisfied with where I am. I want to push myself. And that is the reason why I decided to join Leadership Speak. When I came across Brahm and his podcast, I couldn't believe that this was a Toastmasters project. I was puzzled, surprised, and challenged. And I told myself there and then, this is what I want to do. This is what I want to be. I want to push beyond my limits. I want to go beyond my comfort zone. And thus, my reason for standing here today, introducing myself to Leadership Speak. So here I am, taking the step to becoming a better leader, a better self-organized leader, pushing myself beyond the boundaries of Toastmasters. And I crave your support in doing this. Thank you so much. The Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you very much, Ejura. And with that, I am going to ask Banerjee Singh to present the times for our speeches for today. Banerjee, whenever you're ready. Oh, Banerjee, you're on mute.
I'm putting it in the chat for everyone, so timing.
Okay, perfect. Okay, perfect. We just have Brahm at 20 minutes, 47 seconds. Asif Saiyed is 7 minutes, 26 seconds. Ooh. Contest close. Cusin, 6 minutes, 8 seconds. Lokesh, speech was 6 minutes, 35 seconds with a 14-minute and 4-second question and answer. Banasree, also contest close, 7 minutes, 26 seconds. And Ejura, Okapachi, 6 minutes, 31 seconds. And with that, it's time to vote for our best speaker. Will we get the polls, please, to display it? And someone send me the results of the poll when all the responses have been submitted, please. Thank you. And our best speaker for today's meeting is Lokesh Verma. Lokesh, congratulations. We will display your certificate toward the end of the meeting. And with that,
thank you.
You're quite welcome. I see that we're reached a break, but we're also running a little over, about 6 minutes. Shall we go for like a 2 to 3 minute break and then reconvene, or should we continue further?
You may continue.
Okay, let's go ahead and do that. And with that, I am going to introduce. I'm sorry. Can we put that on mute, please? I'm going to introduce our general evaluator, Hannah Schmidt. Hannah, the platform is all yours. Don't forget to unmute yourself, please.
Oh, this is the most famous words in the whole of Toastmasters. Thank you very much, Mr. Toastmaster of the Day. And with that, we shall start. And the fundamentals of leadership have been well adhered to in this meeting. Thank you very much, Brahm, for redirecting us into the correct direction. Let us now hear from our evaluators. Take the fundamentals of leadership further. And we start with our very first evaluator for the leadership speech, Fursey. And he has been a finalist in the World Championships of Public Speaking, a school of principle and a theater for teachers of over 30 years. And today, in keeping with his philosophy of being a leader, he is going to gather all that knowledge and experience and give the gift of the best evaluation he can for our target speaker, Memone. Over to you. Please help me welcome Fursey.
Thank you, Madam General Evaluator. Thank you, fellow Toastmasters. And of course, thank you, Memone. Brahm, thank you for stepping out of what I perceived, and I think what you perceive as some of your comfort zone. You tried some different things. I've seen the growth in your speeches. You're moving from side to side. You're a little more humorous, right? You're bringing in the humor. I loved how you talked about your family. I loved the storytelling. I loved the details. I think the clarity with which you spoke, not only in your stories, but also your speech pattern, was terrific. Brahm, we kind of got the feeling that you did 2 speeches tonight. We had the family, and then you had your 7 points. What I want to do is invite you to bring those things together. I need you to jump into the pool, Brahm. I need you to understand that you've got to commit both stories together. You're bringing us into your family. Now you've got to bring yourself into our family of our group. So 1, let's bring more us and we into the 7 points. Does that make sense? Us and we, as opposed to, hey, here's what you guys got to do. And I think the more that we're all inclusive and we're all part of this, I think the better. The next thing is we need to involve your family points with the 7 points. So you gave us examples from our club. Could you even give examples of how they were self-directed leaders? How did they demonstrate each of these possible skills and talents? I think bringing all of that together is going to weave both speeches together and make it very powerful. I took a little poll. I asked several members, hey, what'd you remember of the 7 points? I gotta tell you, Brahm,
there weren't a lot of people who could give me all the points. But they should, Brahm. They should remember everything you said because it was well spoken. So I think we just need to assemble those points into one whole story. And of course, you know what it's like when it's a story. We remember the stories. So Brahm, Memone, jump in, both feet. Love the humor. Keep it going. Let's have a lot of fun with it. Do a backflip. Keep having all that great creativity. Bring your creativity, but let's dive all the way in, Brahm. Let's dive into the pool together and let's commit. Let's commit completely. Once the you and whoop, I'm gonna slip. Once the you and community image is no longer as important, you can shrink that down and make the words a little bit bigger. And make sure to summarize and bring that all together. Hey, one last note, and this is for everyone. When you got a 20-minute speech, put your green at 50%, your yellow at 75%, and then your red at 95%. That way you don't have any rush jobs at the end. Hey, thank you, timer. Thanks, Brahm. Great job. I'm going for a swim. So should you.
Yeah, Percy, thank you very much. Fortunately, I know you asked me that question also about the 7, but fortunately we can all listen to it on YouTube again, and then we shall give you an answer. Or are you going for a swim or have you drowned? Our next evaluator for speech is Ashwati. And she is a former scientist, entrepreneur, and a passionate educator. She trains students and teachers in soft skills and teaching methodologies. She is an author of 2 books. In Toastmasters, she has been for almost 3 years and completed 2 paths in pathways. She is also an area director at District 120. And about the theme, she says, according to her, ethics and integrity are the 2 main fundamentals of leadership speaks. Please help me welcome Ashwati to evaluate Asif. Thank you. Over to you.
Thank you so much, General Evaluator. Position don't make leaders, but leaders make position. What a wonderful thought. I just loved it. I love the content. You spoke about both the sides of the coin. What if you are not having any position? You spoke about the pros and the cons, and then what if you are in a position? So you spoke about both the situations, and that's what I liked in your speech. The highlight of your speech was when you explained that how important it is for any leader to influence others. You even explained that it is important to influence not only the people who are there in your team, but also the people who are above you and below you, or maybe on your sides, like your colleagues. So that was very effective. And also you spoke about building a rapport and helping others, which will definitely help in your leadership journey. Even though if you are not having any position, it will make you a leader and people will start following you. That was wonderful. Another great point in your speech was you had a call for action. You asked us, or I should say you persuaded us to think about our strengths and improve them and work them or use them to become a better leader. So that was really a great point which you shared with all of us. Now, few suggestions from me, which I believe will help you to improve the speech. First is, I believe the initial point or initial part of the speech is where you can have a hook with the audience. I missed that because I felt you jumped on to the topic. It would have been nice if you could have started with an interesting question or maybe a story which could have created a curiosity or engaged audience in the beginning itself, in the beginning few seconds itself. So I missed that part. And another thing is, I would have loved to hear your personal story or maybe an anecdote which could have connected with the theme. I think that would have added impact to the whole content. Now coming to your Zoom presence, it was wonderful the way you are dressed as a leader, a strong position, posture, everything was perfect. But still, I felt that you could have used your stage speaking area in a better way. Maybe because you were speaking about two things, like if you are having a position or you are a leader with the position, or if you are not having a position, maybe two sides of the screen. You could have moved and used that stage in a better way. I think that also could have added an impact in your speech. So altogether, the content was fabulous. I loved, I enjoyed every part of it. If you can add a personal story, work on your screen presence, the way you utilize the stage, I think that will be very good and improve your speech. Thank you so much. Over to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you very much, Aswati. And recommendations are always welcome to raise any speech to the next level. Thank you very much, Aswati. Now we come to Africa. Kenneth, he will, Africa to Europe, he will evaluate Marie's speech. And Kenneth hails from Uganda, East Africa. He has been a Toastmaster for a few years, though taking up roles like an evaluator. It has connected him to a number of people that uplift him each and every day. About the theme, leadership. Fundamentals of leadership is modeling the way as a leader. Please help me welcome Kenneth for the evaluation of Marie's speech. Over to you, Kenneth.
Thank you so much, Hannah. Marie, Cusin, well done. Be aware, be safe, live longer. Well done, Marie. You started your speech by demonstrating a profession practice with different vocal varieties, and this was done well. Thank you so much, Marie. You engaged your gestures to enhance your speech. Your volume and speech and the pitch was loud and clear, and we were able to hear you. You were confident and ready for the speech. Well done on that. What could you do better, Marie? I realized that you had distracting movements, a chair around you. There was a chair near you, and your hair too was disturbing you, distracting you. This could be dealt with before you start your presentation. I also realized that your speaking pace is fast, and you could connect sentences very, very fast. I suggest you slow down your pace, and some point try to pause. With these recommendations, you have the opportunity to grow. And I'm seeing your growth from the past speech and this speech. The ball is in your hands. Thank you, Marie. Keep flourishing. Over to you, Hannah.
Thank you very much, Kenneth, for that detailed evaluation. Indeed, vocal variety and body language is definitely a must for any speech, although it should not be overdone. But nevertheless, thank you very much, and for raising those points for Marie. She will definitely adhere to them. Our next evaluator is Leah, and she will be evaluating the speech of Lokesh. And Leah is a Toastmaster into the years, previously served as a VPPR and a VPE of Gaborone Toastmasters Club in Botswana. She has read, listen to this, 45 books in 2023 so far. Oh, about the theme, leader needs a healthy dose of self-awareness. Periodic reflection and feedback helps one become a better leader. Please help me welcome Leah to evaluate the speech of Lokesh. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Madam General Evaluator, and good day to you, Lokesh, and well done in presenting your speech today. So I'm just going to present to you my evaluation in the classic Toastmaster of 3 in terms of what you excelled at, what you may want to work on, and what you may want to challenge yourself on. So in terms of what I picked up that I thought you excelled on, is that you delivered a very interesting, informative speech, the first part of your speech. And in the question and answer session, you gave personal examples in your response. So I really loved that because it helped you to connect with the people who are asking you questions and the rest of us, your audience. And you also answered each question clearly and even asked for clarification when the question wasn't clear. So that was really well done. I also love the fact that at the start of each response, you would respond with, "Thank you for your question." So I thought that was really well, especially like your project was how to handle a question and answer session. So I really loved the way you did that. So what I thought you may want to work on, in part of your speech, you stated facts in your speech, which you didn't give us any reference of the source. So always remember to state the source whenever you're gonna be giving us facts, so that at least it gives that credibility to the facts that you are stating. And then another thing that I thought you may also want to work on is that the Zoom background that you had made some of your gestures not visible. So just try and make sure that maybe next time your gestures are a little bit slower so that they don't get swallowed up in the background, or maybe make sure that when you do put your backgrounds that you're behind you, or the wall that you have maybe a green screen that will ensure that when you do move, that your background doesn't distract your movements. Then the third thing that I thought you may want to work on is that once a question was asked and you did respond, always just make sure that maybe you ask the respondent, did I answer your question? This is just in case the person feels that maybe you may not have addressed their question. And then finally, what I thought you may want to challenge yourself on is that part of the objective of the speech was for you to manage your time adequately. But to me, it appeared that the Toastmaster of the day was the one managing the time. So next time, just make sure that you are the one who's clearly managing the time from the beginning of your speech all the way up to the end. Other than that, well done on your speech today. And as I'd said before I gave you my evaluation, I'd said that I was confident that you're going to provide us a very interesting speech, and you definitely didn't disappoint. And good luck in all your future speeches. Back to you, Madam General Evaluator.
Thank you very much, Leah. And very classic example of the 3 steps of an evaluation. Very well done, as required by Toastmasters International. Our 4th evaluator, wow, is Nurul. And she's been the Toastmaster for 17 years. Past director of District 82, achieved pathway adoption as #1 in the world. About the theme, fundamental leadership, what means to her integrity, walk the talk, and understanding of power of delegation of our fundamentals for an effective leadership. Please help me welcome Nurul to evaluate the speech of Banasree. Over to you.
Thank you, Madam General Evaluator. Yes, Speaker Banasree. What a wonderful topic to display your vocal variety and the gestures. I really liked, it was wonderful. Congratulations, Banasree, for a wonderful speech. And I really liked the speech from the beginning till the end. And at certain point, I really couldn't stop laughing when I was listening to your speech. Because it's not because the gestures and the body languages, the nonverbal communication, it's not easy to deliver a speech with completely vocal variety and the gestures. But you did justice to the purpose of your project. Thank you very much, Banasree, because you really displayed your gestures and the body language in an excellent way. It's not easy when you wanted to express your love. You really showed your hand, how you really treat your love. So it was so beautiful how you were really transferring your gestures from one point to the other, and also your vocal variety. But one thing I just noted was you could have improved your vocal variation. For example, at the time your boyfriend put the pot down, you could have really voiced in a high tone. Oh, so something like that, it would have made a huge impact in your speech. Of course, we were laughing like anything when you really expressed that feeling. And so what I found was you had a very good gestures, body language, and the vocal, but most of the places I found you could have worked a bit of vocal variation to highlight the situation. So another example is how you were using the pillows to work out. So it was so interesting the way that you really related the point. But even at that point, you could have really related your voice variation in a high tone so that we could have felt more about the situation. So all in all, it was a good speech, work out a little bit voice variation, because this project is extremely difficult. And I really loved the topic and how you matched your gestures, body language, and the vocal variation with the topic. Thank you very much, Banasree. Over to you, General Evaluator.
Sure. Thank you very much, Nurul. I also could not stop laughing. And again, you mentioned vocal variety and body language, which are definitely fundamentals of any speech. Now we come to one laughing person to the other laughing person. Hello, Sandra.
Hi, how are you?
Sandra, our other evaluator, she says compassionate straight talk is Sandra's best way for effective evaluation. By getting right to the issues at hand, there is a better chance that the feedback is clear and hopefully concise. Please help me welcome Sandra to evaluate Ejura's, one of our newest members, Icebreaker. Over to you.
Thank you, Hannah. And Ejura, what a pleasure to be evaluating your icebreaker here. I know it's not the icebreaker, which was really a beautiful way actually to bring in the conundrum, like, how do I do an icebreaker? Like, each path has an icebreaker. How am I going to? I could see your head going around, and it was done verbally, and it was a beautiful way to let us know what a challenge it is. Another icebreaker, if you do 15 pathways, 15 icebreakers, how do I make them different? And I really, really, really enjoyed your approach. That had me going right in. Yeah, I can remember how that goes. And a new path, I'll have a new icebreaker. So I really enjoyed that. And your timing, I must say, was right in that sweet spot. Fursey already alluded to it, but a sweet spot for 5 to 7 is kind of going for that 6.5 minutes. You've got time to play with it. It's just a shame when people get disqualified on time, and it's not necessary. So the conundrum of the icebreaker differences was great. And I love your phrasing and your words. I grew up in the boisterous city of Lagos. You went a little fast in your geography lesson for me, because Africa is a big mystery for most of the world. People say, oh, are you from Africa? Yeah, that's the size of North America and South America together. 52 countries in there. so it is a challenge. So you said, yes, you're from Nigeria, you got it nailed down and then into the city, but I had a little challenge following all of that, but I really caught because you went into the boisterous city of Lagos. Loved it. So these words are really special, and you have a natural humor, and I'm always looking for the natural humor because I agree with Lokesh. If we laugh, we're going to keep our body healthy, and you have that natural humor. So just nurture that. You'll probably want to take on the pathway of humor speaking, whatever it's called. You have very clear pronunciation, and I loved your little humor in there about entrepreneurship in Nigeria is an extreme sport. I've been helping and working with people in Uganda, and yeah, the entrepreneurship is about the only way you're going to get ahead over there, I think, in many ways. Now, what happened was that I was so wrapped up in your opening and where you were from that I totally missed setting us up that you were going to go into your Toastmaster role, so into your Toastmaster journey. And so all of a sudden I'm thinking, how did we go there? So I missed that segue. There's something clear that you can put in there to direct us to the Toastmaster journey and how it has made such a difference. And I love the phrasing, I will allow Toastmasters to pass through me. That means you're not going to get it all stuffed up in yourself. It's going to go through me. You are going to add as much to us as we add to you because you invite that. It's going through me. Direct, assertive leadership, leader. Victories can make you get stuck. You're going to get beyond your comfort zone, get rid of the limits, and your closing was strong and beautiful. I crave your support. And I can assure you, Leadership Speak craves yours. Hannah? You are muted again, Hannah.
I don't do anything to mute myself. Thank you very much again, Sandra, for that wonderful evaluation. Yes, it is not easy to present so many icebreakers at any one time because every path starts with an icebreaker, and this can also become an extreme sport. Madam Zoomaster, please share the poll for the members to vote for the best evaluator, and please let me know when it's complete, and I think we have 1 minute for that.
It's not Madam Toastmaster, it's the Sergeant at Arms.
Sorry, Sergeant at Arms, my apology. Sergeant at Arms, please do that for me.
It's on. The winner is Fursey Gotuaco.
Is the minute over? Thank you very much. And who is the winner?
It's on the screen. It's Fursey Gotuaco.
Okay, I'm not at that screen. Thank you very much. And we had a very excellent timer today. Wow, he did it so well. Would you please submit time for the evaluators?
It's already in the chat.
It's already there on the chat, ma'am.
In the chat. Thank you very much. So for everybody to see, thank you. And Madam Grammarian, please let us have your report, and especially on the count of the word of the day today. Over to you.
Hello, everyone, again. The word of the day confidence was only used 7 times. All speakers spoke eloquently with great confidence. And I have to single out Brahm's 7 points of self-improvement, which are self-awareness, self-setting, goal setting, goal agility, accountability, initiative, self-motivation, and being resilient. These are pointers I'm taking away with this meeting. Love the opening laugh from Lokesh Verma, which is quite different and sets the tone for a happy meeting and for promoting forgiveness to others. Some of the interesting phrases and titles I picked up was positive position myth, urgency care or emergency, beauty and pain, intimate the new, always casting for vision. I think my ancestors were crazy, something bizarre, old fat, young fat, love is a thing of beauty. And the only misused sentence I've heard, like I said, everyone spoke eloquently today. It's me and Ray when they should have said Ray and I. And here ends my report. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Madam Grammarian. And remember, I will also use that word once, so you can add that one to your count.
Good.
Let me now, let me now give my general evaluation of the meeting. And I start with great confidence. I love this chit chat before the meeting starts and connecting with the members beforehand. This session actually ends far too soon. One could have a chit chat even after the meetings. Congratulations to Francois, our Sergeant at Arms, who started the meeting spot on time. That's how it should be. Toastmaster of the day, you have excelled to pronounce the members' names before we start the meeting. And you have done that very well. I am not very fond of that saying, but in the meetings, oh, I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. I don't think that should be in the meeting. One should do it beforehand. Thank you very much, Toastmaster of the day. The toast by Ram, who jumped in at the last minute to raise the toast. Thank you very much, Brahm. That exemplifies leadership. Thank you. And Barbara, the grammarian, confidence. Oi, we trust and with trust and strong belief, we flourish in leadership speak. Thank you for that word, confidence. And the timer, Paramjit, thank you very much. You have done an excellent job. Give him a big hand in showing the times for each speakers. One concern that I've got is it would be extremely and greatly appreciated if speakers as well as role players could log in early, at least half an hour before the meeting starts, so they can test the audios and the visuals. And I have noticed, one thing I have noticed here, that of the 35 attendees stayed all the time. Is that not a sign of quality of our great meetings? I think so. Thank you very much for everybody that has stayed until the end of, nearly the end of the meeting. Over to you, Toastmaster of the day, Ray.
Thank you so very much, Hannah, for all your words. For our PR master, do you need any additional time to display our best speaker and a best evaluator? I'll repeat that, and I'll be honest, I'll speak only for myself. Just because Fursey decided to do his evaluation pool size, that had no impact on my decision for best evaluator. I'll just say that out in front. Let's see. Okay, good. I got the speaker. Actually, if I'm going to need a moment to display those. I have them, but I need to display them.
No, you go ahead. It is Mary who's going to display them.
Okay, thank you very much, Brahm.
You're running out of time. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, whenever you can, Marique, if you can, do you have co-host privileges to display the best speaker and the best evaluator? Okay, and while we're waiting, I would like to turn this meeting over to our president, Brahm, Memone, for guest comments, reports, and to close out the meeting. Our best speaker is, we just.
I'm just moving my lips to see if you could read them. That's all.
Okay. All right. Our best
Thank you
speaker.
very much, Ray, for running a very tight meeting. We were supposed to finish at 11:43 my time, and we finished at 11:41. So you did well today. You started off very well today. So thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, I will adjourn the meeting anyways. It's 2 minutes early, but I'll still adjourn the meeting. We can stop the recording and we'll go on and see if our guests are here, and we can introduce our guests as well.